Yeah.
So you guys are normal.
We normies.
Normies.
Yeah.
I don't expect normies to know those things.
Yeah,
So,
I've learned things just for like, dealing with like my cousin.
Yeah, and we're gonna talk about all that.
Yeah, so
save that.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, because that's some good stuff to talk about. Hey guys, welcome to Silver Lining Nation, and we are here today with Dwain. Dwain is a friend of mine who I've known for a couple of years. I know him from promotions. We are both BA brand ambassadors, in case you guys don't know what that is. BA, a lot of people ask me, what's a BA? And I like to say, oh, that means badass, but it actually means brand ambassador. So we promised you guys that Silver Lining Nation would do something different with season 3, and that's what we're doing here. Dwain is actually a normie, and he's not one of us. When I say one of us, he's not an addict or an alcoholic. He is actually someone who has a family member or members in his families that are affected by the disease of alcoholism or addict. So Dwain is our guest today, and he's going to share his experience with us guys to let us know how he's affected by this disease. So welcome, Dwain.
Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being here.
For sure.
So I've been trying to get you on this show for a while.
Yeah. And I've been trying to get here for a while. I'm happy I was able to today, though.
Me too. I was gonna keep bugging you because you know I'm pretty persistent when I want something. So I'm gonna go.
I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for agreeing to be here. So I want to, like I said, we met about 7 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Has it been longer
Probably
than that?
longer.
I'm an alcoholic now. Yesterday to me could be 7 years ago, and I'll say I met him other day. But what I'm really meaning, it's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a long time. You was one of the first people that I worked with that I liked working with.
Thank you.
When I moved here to Texas.
Yeah,
so, for sure. Yeah.
And it was at I think we worked on AT&T. It was at the soccer field. Remember?
So you got a good memory now.
I got pretty good memory. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. You remember that? It's in Frisco.
For sure.
Yeah, I was your manager then.
Yes, you was my boss.
Oh, yeah, I was your boss. Now, Dwain provides me with a lot of work where he's my boss now, y'all. So it's a small world with the BA world. You never know when the roles are going to switch and you become my boss, and that's why we try to be respectful of each other and try to help each other out. It's a really close connected family that we have in the BA world, we watch out for each other, guys, and that's what I love about the BA world.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you got good people.
Oh,
yeah,
a lot of good people. A lot of good people that we're connected with. So let's get into, your experience with how people like myself have really messed up your world.
No. I would say that. You know what? Like, growing up, a lot of times, I guess I didn't even notice. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess we, how can I explain it? We use words coming up like, oh, yeah, they just always drunk or something like that. Or, oh, yeah, he just can't get it together. You know what I mean? So, growing up, I never thought of it as a disease or person got problems or whatever the case may be. Just seen it like, here they go acting up again.
Let Uncle sleep it off. Leave him alone. They never explained to us what it was, what was going on.
For sure.
So, and I share that a lot on the podcast that we.
Especially in our community.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. In our community, we were taught that what goes on in the house stays in the house. Yep. I have people on the podcast sometimes when I said it, they don't get it.
Yeah.
I love that you get it, right?
I get that. You understand that.
Yes,
Mama taught you that, grandma taught you that.
You don't talk about it.
Yeah, for sure.
We don't talk.
Sure.
If you talk about it, you're going to get a whooping.
Yeah.
If I heard that you said something about this house, you don't talk about it.
Yeah,
but, we know that as a community, that keeps us sick.
Absolutely. And I think I know for me personally, it was it was all over, my uncles, my other uncles, my dad, and my brothers and stuff had spells with it, but I think it didn't really affect me. I mean, it affected me, but not knowing it affected me, you know what I mean? But as I got older, when it started affecting my cousin, who's my best friend and cousin, then it was yo, this is serious. Someone my age,
yes,
grew up with, did everything with, and then things kind of started to change. You know what I mean? So, what I didn't understand is, like I said, it's an illness.
Yes.
We didn't know how to deal with it. It was just why he always tripping? Why can't he never just chill?
Why can't he stop?
Yeah, just chill, man. Where
Yeah.
you trying to because I remember times we would we'll all hang out and we have our drinks and then we'd be like, all right, we here. That's what I always think about. I'm here.
Yeah.
This is where
I
I
don't
want
need to go any
yeah,
further.
Nowhere else.
Yeah.
Nowhere else. But my cousin, he would get there and he would keep going and we
take
just
it to another level.
Yeah, and it really started to affect our relationship, his relationship with all our other friends, our family, and I think us growing up not knowing, I didn't know, I didn't even know that he was alcoholic until years later when we just started putting things together.
Right.
You know what I mean? So with us, it's or me, I know the way I deal with it is I just would turn away. And I mean, I guess
I'm
that's
not fooling with him.
Yeah. And even with family, I'm just man, I'm not dealing with you. And it's just kind of shun them. And I'm but I mean, I didn't know what else to do.
Right,
you
right.
know what I mean? That's I guess that was my way of dealing with it, just shut down. Whoever you are, if I have to deal with that, it's just no energy towards it. You know what I mean? And I guess I wish I would have knew what to do.
Yes.
And
yes.
how to be more supportive, I guess.
Right.
Would be in a way something tools I would have liked to have or information I would like to have.
Yeah, and that's the issue that I see, and this is only my opinion. It's because of what we were discussing earlier. We've been taught that we don't talk about it. We don't. So therefore, you don't go to a place where you can discuss that issue.
Yeah.
Or you don't go to someone that you can discuss it with, because I think most of the time with our parents, they think, oh, they're going to blame it on me, right? And don't you go there and talk about me.
Right,
and it's that guilt of, did I do something wrong to cause my child to become,
for sure.
the way he or she is.
Yeah.
It's the guilt of it.
Definitely.
And I think that's what it is.
Now, my auntie dealt with that. A lot. And I'm you were great. You know what I mean?
Yes,
yes. You was my second mom. You know what I mean? But definitely, I could see that part. But we just, and when I say we, I mean, Black culture in particular, it wasn't even it was no outlet for, it was no way that even my cousins, my cousin that was really dealing with it, it was I mean, now that I'm thinking back, what was his options? You know what I mean?
Yes.
What was he supposed to do?
Right.
Because it wasn't a thing.
Right. Exactly. And I know you can, even today, I remember when I went in the rooms, in the 12-step rooms, there's not a lot of us in there. And you don't want to feel different.
Right.
You know, you don't
Right.
want, well, will these people, so to speak,
Yeah.
understand me? Will they know where I'm coming from? Because maybe I'm not going to speak the way they speak. And I'm not going to, you know, I had to learn to get away from that thinking. Does that make sense what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
for
But it
sure.
is scary if you walk into a room and there's not a lot of people that look like you. You know, because we are comfortable when we see people that look like us.
Right, right.
You know, and that's something that's been ingrained in us, you know, that there's safety there. And I
Definitely.
think a lot of it falls back on that, you know, and a lot of it falls back on, like we were saying earlier, where our parents, because they don't know why this is happening, therefore they can't tell us if there's a issue with it.
Definitely, definitely, and it's like I mean, I would say, I think we've been doing a better job of like speaking about illnesses, like, you know, mental health.
Yes.
And like,
Yes.
to me, this is the epitome of mental health. You
It
know what I
is.
mean? And like, I would like to see us talk more about it, you know,
Yes.
and like, because then I'm thinking about, you know, myself growing up. I'm like, it could have saved a lot of relationships with me, with my family. You know, it could have
Yes.
saved. I mean, it would have helped the relationship with my dad, my
Yes.
uncles.
Yes.
Because I just didn't understand. I just was like, man, one thing I said, I'm never, you know what I mean? I'm never, not that I had complete control, but you know, you yeah, you tell yourself,
Yeah.
like, I'm never dealing with this to the point where, I mean, in college, you know, you did the college
You gotta be
stage.
cool.
Yeah, I went. I mean, I ain't gonna say I didn't go hard. I did.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I say after that stretch, I consciously like made sure like, no, I'm not. You know, I'm not gonna do this. I'm
Because
not gonna do
you
this.
saw and you had the experience.
Yeah.
And I'm totally opposite from you. Nobody drank in my house. You know, I didn't have
Yeah.
that. I was raised by a religious person.
Okay.
And I didn't have any of that in my house. So I wasn't raised around that.
Got you.
And I turned out to be an alcoholic and an addict. And, you know, so I don't think it has anything to do with your upbringing. I think it's a disease that's inherited from, you know, you can, you know, like you didn't get it. You
Yeah.
didn't get the disease. But yeah, it's not something that we just decide that we're going to become.
Right.
Like you were saying, your cousin, when you guys would turn it up,
Yeah.
he keep going.
Yeah.
Because of the disease of the alcoholism that he has that you didn't have. He couldn't stop. Once you start drinking, when we start drinking, I can't stop.
So can someone who has the disease, can they have a drink? Just have a drink.
I
Like
can
it's-
never drink again if I want to remain sober.
Really?
I have to stay completely away from alcohol. And that's a hard concept for
Yeah.
people to understand because I have children and friends that say, you don't look like an alcoholic, you don't look like an addict.
Right.
It's not
Right.
about looks.
Yeah, for sure.
But once I drink, if I have a drink right now, it's like a light switch. I'm gone.
Wow.
I have to completely, and that's what people don't understand. Once you become an alcoholic, you can't undo it. The only way that I can remain sane, the little sanity that I have, I ain't got that much, y'all. But what I do have, in order to remain sane, I have to stay away from alcohol completely.
See, and that's stuff that's an example of something that I just learned today. You know what I mean? Because it's like even with, I know being with my cousin, and then we'll be like, all right, like we knew he was having his issues. We didn't really know what it was, but we like, all right, hey, we about to go out. We just go have a drink, you know, and then we go bowling, or you know what I mean, whatever the case.
We
and then
gonna just do a little.
Yeah, we not about to. We go hang out, and it never ended up
Because
like
he couldn't
that.
do it. That was
never
out
do
of his
that.
control. Once I consume alcohol, all bets are off.
Yeah.
I end up in jail. I go to jail when I drink. I like to drive. and I hate driving when I'm sober. But when I start drinking, I want to get in the car and I want to drive because I want to go fast.
Oh wow! Oh wow!
No, once you cross, I call it an invisible line. Mm-hmm. Once you cross over it, you can't undo it.
That is, like I said, that is a lot. That is a lot to take. Like I never even thought about it like that. You know, these are things that, like, I wish I knew, because I even, like, you know, you feel guilty, like, I guess, kind of like stepping away. You know what I mean, for someone who you know like your whole life or whatnot.
Yeah,
and it's like, but we didn't know the
do.
tools. We didn't know, like, I think if we would have spoke about, like, oh, this is what it looks like.
I even talked to him and asked him, because a lot of times, I know for this alcoholic and addict, when I was using and drinking, there was other things going on with me internally that I couldn't express. And like you're saying, that he would go out and he would get drunk and do all these things with you guys. He felt horrible, I think. This is only my opinion. I would feel horrible. So in order for me to feel better, guess what I have to do?
Oh, wow.
I got to have another drink, because I got to ease the mind. It makes me more comfortable, and it makes me not think about the shame that I've done. Does that make sense?
Definitely.
Because I'm shamed, and I know that I've shamed I let you down. I just feel horrible. So I want to forget, so I have another drink. And it starts all over again. And I'm sure there were times when he did stop drinking and he was like normal. But as soon as he picked up again, it started right where he left off.
Yeah,
does that sound familiar?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it was just like, it would be like, all right, because he would be like, oh yeah, we just go chill, you know. So we all like, all right, for sure, you know what I mean? Like, all right, we not acting up tonight, you know what I mean? Like, but it got to a point where it was just like, clearly, he don't have any control of this. But I still didn't know, and I'm not talking about being like 20 years old. I think I was probably around, what would I say, like, I was well in my 20, 25, 26, still not knowing what to call this, you know, like what this is, like not picking up on any signs, just like what we say, man, he be wilding, you know what I'm saying? He be acting up, like, you know, but it's not like, if we would have just said, okay, this is what it is, I think it could have, changed how we move, how we move.
Yeah. Do you know, is there any food that you can't eat?
Yes.
What is it?
Jambalaya.
Are you allergic to it?
Yes.
Okay. I am allergic to alcohol.
Okay.
You know how that works?
Yeah.
I have an allergic reaction when I drink alcohol. And that sounds like what your cousin was experiencing too. When I consume alcohol, it's like a light switch. Like you can drink alcohol and nothing happens. You can act normal. It's like, I can't really explain it to you because you're a normie. But when I drink alcohol, I have an allergic reaction, and it does something to my brain. And my brain and it just switch. It's like you turn this light off, I turn into a different person.
That's wild. That's so wild.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and I can be the nicest person, and I read about this a lot, but as soon as I consume alcohol, I'm like, I am totally different. Yeah. It's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. That's who I become. And you would think, what happened to her? That's not that same person.
Right.
Because of the allergic reaction that I have from alcoholism when I drink alcohol. That's
a good way to put it. These are things I wish I would have knew. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like what would you say could have been tools to help? You know what I mean?
Yeah. What helped me in the beginning, I mean, I didn't, you can't see it like I didn't see it. And when people would say that I would change, but I didn't know what you were talking about.
Okay.
So my brain, it was so fogged up. And when you're an alcoholic, your disease, alcoholism is a disease. It tells me that I don't have it.
Yeah.
And it tells me that you guys are the ones that are insane, not me. Even though I'm doing all this crazy stuff that is insane, I can't see it. And the only thing, my daughter, she saw it. My youngest one, she saw it, and she said, there's something wrong with our mom. And everybody else, nobody wanted to address it. But she was so persistent. And she would make little calendars to put on the refrigerator, and she would ask me to make little smiley faces every time I didn't drink. Make a little smiley face.
Your daughter did that?
Yeah, she tried to do, and she was in college when this was going on, and she tried to do everything in her power, but it was up to me. Well, it wasn't up to me. The state of Texas decided to intervene, and I had 3 DWIs.
Yeah.
Back to back, and they put a breathalyzer on my car. I couldn't even drive the damn thing without blowing into it. But I found out how to manipulate that, because alcoholics are really smart people. So, so after that, they told me that I had to go to a 12-step program. Okay. So I started going there, and I started listening to what the people were saying, and I could relate. And that helped me a lot.
So is that when you accepted it?
That's when I began to listen and to relate and say, oh, I do that. Oh, I do crazy stuff. I black out. Yeah. Because I used to black out, and I had no idea what happened around me, and people would say, we did this last night, and I didn't have any memory of what I've done, right? So
it sounds so familiar.
Yeah. The blackouts were one of the reasons that I knew I was out of control, because I wouldn't know when I would have a blackout. You can't control a blackout. You know what a blackout is. Sure. There's no control. I didn't know if I drink this time, will I black out? Yeah. You don't have any control over it. So the only solution for me was to come into a 12-step program and to listen to what the people were saying and to relate. Mm-hmm. But I couldn't do it in church.
Why you say that?
Church,
judgment?
The people there I had to be around alcoholics and addicts that understood the disease of alcohol.
So is there anything you think your friends and family could have did to help you?
I love my children to death. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
And I love couldn't get me sober. The alcohol was more powerful than love. Mm. It was more power. Alcohol was my higher power.
Wow.
That's whatever, what your higher power is. It's whatever you put first amongst everything else. And alcohol and drugs were my higher power. They were more important than you saying, like you probably said to your cousin, dude, why you keep doing this? He don't know. Mm. My son, Nicholas, Nicholas, yeah. You guys are good friends. He would ask me and he would look at me because I know he didn't want his mom to be an alcoholic and a crackhead. Uh-huh. And why you keep doing this stuff? You know how you get at it. Yeah. And you know what I did? You look here. You tending your business. Mm. I'm mom. Mm. And I'm not hurting you.
Right.
Because you don't realize that you're hurting the people that you love.
Definitely.
So for me, it took running my Jeep into the wall on 75. I flipped it, and because I had just went to South Dallas to get my dope. I went over there to get some crack, and I had my drink in the car, and I'm rushing home so I can hit it. And I flipped that SUV, and that was my third DWI. Yeah, and I didn't care. I told the officer, let me go. I want to go home and just leave me alone.
Like that, right?
Like that. That's how my mind thought. But I threw my dope over the wall. So yeah, I didn't want to be caught with crack.
Right.
And this nosy person told the officer, I think she threw something over the wall. I was so mad. I was like, really?
That's funny.
But yeah, you don't know the insanity of what you're doing. And he might love his mother, and but the pull of it is so strong.
So you don't think it's like I got a friend that's dealing with a family member right now that's kind of showing some of the same signs that that we notice now. Like the only alternative you think is to get them into some type of program. Like it's nothing like
they can't do it on their own. You can't do this disease by yourself. It's a we program. And alone, guess what happens? My mind tells me, like I told you, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm my best friend.
Yeah.
So it tells me exactly what I want to hear. Until you seek some help, I don't care whether you go to a treatment program. That's a beginning for some people that just can't stop drinking. Okay. Going to a treatment center, and this is my opinion, I'm not trying to tell anybody what they ought to be doing, but at least a treatment center would enable you to stay away from it. Okay. Because you're in treatment, right? And that'll give you some time to clear the mind. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But I do highly recommend after you get out of treatment, you got to have a program. If you don't have a program, you're gonna go right back. That's my opinion. I've been interviewing people, so that's why I'm backing up, that don't use a 12-step program. So I can only share with you guys my experience. And my experience is the 12 steps, and that's what works for me. However, I've been interviewing people that have found another solution, but that's not my solution.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
And especially if you're new and you're trying to, find a solution, I think being around other people and having that network of people will really help. Instead of trying, because you can't help him or her or whoever it is. Cause
that's a terrible feeling too. Because it's like, of course I can help. You know what I mean? Like,
you cannot.
That is.
Excuse me. How have that been working for you? Trying to help them. Have that worked for you in the past? Answer that.
No, it didn't.
There you go.
But then I tell myself like, oh, maybe if I would have knew, you know what I mean? Like, I could have did this. I could have did that.
What would you have?
I don't know.
What do you think you could have done?
I don't know. Went to play dominoes instead of going to. I don't know. But I mean, because that's part of the you know what I mean, the guilt that I have. You know what I mean? Like man, you'll just be sitting around or you be talking to your buddies and y'all talking about, oh man, we did it. And then you get to the point where you like, man, anybody talk to him? Like nobody talks. It's like, man, you feel bad. It's like, man, we
and guess
could
what?
have tried to do more.
And guess what? We love that you feel bad.
Oh, wow.
Yes, because you know what? It keeps me in that pity. Pour me a drink.
Wow.
That's what that does. With me, I had to have tough love. Okay. You had to, even an intervention, if you guys, maybe you could have one of those. If there's someone that you love so much, you see the shows.
Yeah.
Get him, a group of you guys say, you know what, this hurts us when you do it.
Right.
And we love you. That at least it shows that you care. Because for me, with my younger daughter, now that I look back on it, she cared about me. She loved me. You know, and I can look back on it and appreciate it. When she was doing it in the beginning, I didn't see it.
You didn't see it as that?
No, but to take the effort to do it is what's important. Does that make sense what I'm saying? At least you're trying. And then that relieves some of the guilt from you. Because saying nothing is doing nothing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So at least you're saying, not just ignoring. You know, we're still human beings.
Right.
We are amazing people. You know, once it's like peeling an onion back. You keep peeling it back, and in the middle is what you want. And alcoholics and addicts, we have some amazing personalities. We're fun people, and I'm sure you saw that in your cousin.
For sure.
It's just he couldn't control once he had that alcohol in him. But you don't just toss him away because of that.
Right.
And I understand that some people, we can hurt you so bad and we can do so much to our families, and you do want to wash your hands of us.
Yeah.
You know, and I understand the hurt. You know, so that's why I have you on here, because I'm his cheerleader.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure.
I'm his cheerleader because I know the pain that he's going through,
right? And
because it might seem on the outside that he's okay, and y'all, you ain't got to have nothing to do with me,
right?
But inside, it's not like that. There's hurt, and we don't like to be isolated, but we don't know what else to do because we're hurting, and we want to put on an appearance that we're not.
So what do, as you say, normies? You know, what do we do to like not
deal
have that person isolated, but still have them?
There's other programs for you guys too, the families of alcoholics and addicts. There's other programs for you guys as well, in order to learn how to deal with us.
There's programs for us.
Yes, sir. Because we are very manipulating people. And like I was saying when you said we feel sorry, we like that.
Okay.
I want you to feel sorry for me, because now I can pull your strings. So there's programs for the family members as well, so you guys can know not to let us manipulate you. We hold you hostage, and you guys become codependent, and that's what happens. And then you're just as sick as we are, if you think about it. Because if for instance, your father, if he's the head of the household, right? And the way he's acting affects the whole household. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Have you had an experience with that? I
have experience with me affecting the whole household, like with the the energy and for sure.
So especially, just think if you're drinking, how much you're affecting it. You know, so, and we can make the whole household sick by us drinking, even if you're not drinking. Does that make sense?
That definitely makes sense.
Yeah.
But I said, this is all things like, I don't know. I just feel like I didn't learn about any of this. I didn't it just wasn't a thing. You know what I mean? So I think, I want to be able to give even my kids as they get older, you know, give them the tools to see, to know.
Yes, the education.
Exactly.
This is what's going on in you. With my children, I want them to know that this disease runs in our family. And even my nieces and my nephews, you know, it runs in our family. So I want them to be mindful of it. You know, I know, you know, when we were growing up, the weed would come out and we start partying, and the drinks come out and the dominoes come out and the cards, and man, it's on. And the grill come out, and that's how we party,
right? That's how we hang, for sure.
And because our parents would do that, you know. Well, my mom didn't, but I go over to my friends and they had the cool parents. And we just saw generations of people doing it. And for us to not to stop and say, as a society, is this something that is keeping us down? That's my main. That's what I really want for the podcast, Silver Lining Nation, to really hit home with our people, with the Black people, that this is something that we ought to be thinking about, y'all. I mean, because it's serious in our community.
Common.
It is so. Yeah. I mean, because you only know what you know, and we're comfortable with things that we know. Yeah. So it's about unlearning everything you thought you knew, and that is so hard. So hard, and that's what they told me when I came into the rooms. Even with my higher power, I had to unlearn all that. I don't know whether you're a Baptist. I was raised Baptist. I had to unlearn all those things that I was taught, and that's not an easy concept. You know, now you're telling me my mama taught me wrong. Yeah. You know?
Now you're attacking me, right?
Yeah, now you're attacking me, and I don't like that, right? But in order for me to get comfortable, I got to get uncomfortable.
I like that.
And that's how it works.
Definitely.
And we got to talk about it. And we got to, I'm so glad that you're asking me what you're asking, you know, because we don't know what to ask if we don't know about the disease and how it affects us.
And that's the thing, like like I say, we will put different labels on it. He be acting up, he be wilding.
Let him sleep it
off.
Yeah,
or he be crazy. He be I'm thinking if we just call it what it is, maybe it'll change how we react to it and things and how we move with it, though.
Because you can't label him as an alcoholic. Guess what? He has to do it. I had to say I'm an alcoholic because you know how you drink, you can drink this and you get full. If this was alcohol, I can drink it, I need more. I don't get full when I drink alcohol. I keep it coming. Yeah. You know, even though my sides might hurt, I might feel horrible, I can't stop. That's how it is. I cannot, once I start, I can't stop. I can stop, but I can't stay stopped.
Ooh, that's a tough concept to like.
But it's no more tough than you being allergic to gumbo.
Right.
Yeah. You stay away from gumbo, right? I can stay away from alcohol. The thing is, society make it so glamorous, and you're not. Oh, it's so pretty when you see people. They look so good on TV and social media, and you know, in my head, I want to look like that too. But that ain't coming out. Once I start drinking, I'm over in the corner over there, my weaves everywhere. I'm like, I look like a whore. I'm like, no, I don't look like that, and I have to play it all the way out. I think I'm gonna look pretty and sip, and you know, and give me a couple of drinks. I don't look anything like that, so I have to play. You're laughing, but I'm serious. Oh, wow. I have to play it all the way out. This what you see? Yeah. I don't look like this. This ain't real. It's not real. That's and I'm sure that you probably had to take him out of the clubs a couple of times and where he couldn't walk.
What? That was turning into life. You know, that's what I'm saying. That's why I say we had to get to the point where we was just like, you know what they say, wash your hands. It's like you feel bad, but ain't no alternative. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I was gonna ask you, like, what moment were you able to be like, all right, I'm an alcoholic? You know, like you said, I can't tell him he's an alcoholic. She can't tell him he's an alcoholic. He gotta tell himself what. When did I
certify myself?
When'd you get your badge? You know what I mean?
It took me a while because nobody likes to say that there is something wrong with them, right? How long have you known me? And I'm going to answer what you asked me. How long have you known me?
Maybe 10 years.
When did you find out that I was alcoholic?
Like, oh man, like a few months ago.
There
Crazy.
you go. Yes.
Crazy.
Yes. Because I didn't want people to look down on me.
Okay.
And I didn't want, because your ideal of an alcoholic is, it's a low class person and somebody that can't control themselves. Is that right?
Yeah.
And you don't want to be around them. And if they see some alcohol, they just gonna start drinking. Mm-hmm. Right? Is that your ideal of an alcoholic? I didn't want to think there's something wrong with me. Especially if I don't want you to think something wrong with me. You think I want to think something wrong with me? That I can't control something about me? So I denied it. It was like, there's nothing wrong with me. I can handle this. I'm a strong black woman.
Yeah.
You know, what do you mean I can't handle something?
Right.
Right? So when I came into the 12-step program, and first of all, I had to realize that I was insane. I was insane with all this stuff that I was doing. Who would get 3 DWIs and think it was okay? You know, who would want to go to jail? All the things that I was doing started piling up, and I started realizing this shit doesn't happen to me when I don't drink. It only happens when I'm drinking or drugging, right?
Yeah.
So once I came into the rooms and I started clearing up some where I wasn't drinking, I started seeing, and I started putting the pieces together of the puzzle, and I started listening to what these other alcoholics and addicts were singing, and that's when I was like, check, check. I do that, and that's when I knew, and I also started thinking what it was, how it felt when I drink, when I have that. It's not all the drink. It's not alcoholism in about all the drink. You know, when I came in to the program, I wanted them to show me how to control.
Right.
Like you were trying to do with your cousin. Show me how to control this drinking. That's not what it's about. You know where you made the mistake at with him? Maybe, I don't want to say you made the mistake with him.
Yeah.
But you know what happened?
What's
you
that?
want me to tell you the first thing that what you shouldn't have done?
Okay.
Gave him that first drink. It's the first drink that gets you, not all the rest of them. If I can stay away from that first drink, I got a chance.
Right.
The first drink is what hits my brain, and it changes my thinking, and the allergic reaction kicks in with the first drink. Just like when you bite into that gumbo, that first bite is gonna kick the allergic reaction in. Does that make sense?
No, I got you. Yeah.
The first drink kicks the allergic reaction in for me. And then I need more, because I got a bottomless pit here. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's yeah.
So if you guys hadn't to stop drinking with
that changes like the way I even thought about what it is, you know, what alcoholism is. Like I would think, I mean, I know it's an addiction, but I didn't think, you know, I'm thinking moderation. You know what I mean? Like everything in moderation.
No, we can't do that. There is not, and there is no cure for alcoholism. I want you to know that. They can't give you a pill.
Right.
There's no cure except for staying away from it. That's the only cure to this disease. And man haven't been that smart to make a cure for it. They can give you a pill that when you drink, you throw up, you get sick. But I know some people, they take that pill and they still drink because they're alcoholic.
Jeez.
You know, that's what they are. That's what we are.
Right.
You know, but there's no cure for this disease. And all the smart scientists and all, they haven't made a cure for it.
All the technology, and it
still exists. So yeah, so that's staying away from the first drink is what's important.
Right.
You know, and that's what I had to learn. You know, it's the first drink, because then all bets are off for me.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm learning. I'm learning today. I never looked at it like that. I guess I never. Yeah.
So is your dad still an alcoholic? Is he recovering?
See that now we getting into it. I can't say I know the answer to that because like I say, I don't
You don't
put too
deal
much
with him
effort
either?
into it. Here and there, but not
You're
to
not
where
that
I
close.
would like to be. Yeah.
Hopefully, now that you understand a little about the disease and you know that I'm here, maybe you guys can get a little closer. Or you can even have a talk with him and say, I'm concerned about you. I love you.
Right.
And I want you to be a part of, you got 4 lovely children. I want you to be a part. They need their granddad.
Right, right, for sure.
My biggest blessings, Dwain, comes from being a part of my grandkids' life. I get to do with them living amends. A living amend is something that you know what it is. It's where things that I didn't do with my children, I do with my grandchildren now.
For sure.
And they never have to see me drunk. If the good Lord's willing,
right?
That it's one day at a time. They never have to see me drunk, and I enjoy doing things with them. And it's me paying back what I didn't do with their parents. Does that make sense?
Definitely.
So it's not all about you when it comes to your dad. Your children might need their grandfather, and if you can build that relationship. I'm all about. I'm like I said. I'm the cheerleader for the alcoholics and the addicts. I know that we're worth fighting for.
Right.
And being in a relationship with your dad, because I think your children see what relationship you have with your father, and that's the relationship they're gonna have with you, and your grandchildren is gonna have with you, because it's a cycle. And building a relationship with our families, and that's important. I think that's my opinion only, but it's lonely being an addict and an alcoholic.
So you think that help you to stay on your path?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, because I got some little people that I want to remember me. I want them to remember that they're Nina. She was fun. She did stuff with us. And
right.
Yeah. So it's not about you.
For sure.
It's about your children relationship with their grandfather. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So building, finding out, talking to him, let's go have coffee. Let's, and expressing to him your concerns, because if my youngest daughter hadn't fought, she fought for me. She fought for me, and today I'm so blessed that she did.
That's
so
awesome.
Building that relationship with him, even if you don't want it for you,
right,
you need to want it for them, because it's being selfish if you're just thinking about you. I can understand if he's affecting the children's life, coming around them drunk or doing stuff. That's a different issue.
For sure.
Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Sure,
but if he's not doing that, give him a chance with them. Let him, and this is me, I'm not a therapist or anything like that, and I'm not trying to be here, but I'm just speaking as an alcoholic and an addict, what I would want and what helped me. And that helps me stay sober. And it might help him have some sober time. Oh, I'm going in and visit my grandkids today, so I'm not going to turn it up today, right? You never know. Any little thing that you can do, and that's providing service for someone that you do love. I can tell you love him.
For sure.
So that's providing service for him as well. Does that make sense?
Okay. This is okay. Yeah, like I say, these are different ways of thinking about it that had previously thought about like that. So yeah, okay, I'm learning a lot. I'm learning a lot. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, because your little ones, I'm adopted, and I would look at my I knew my real mom, and I was always looking at her, trying to find things that I could relate to.
Okay.
And little kids do that too. They look and they'll compare, like Nicholas' daughter, she'll look and compare me and Nick.
Okay.
And kids do that.
Yeah.
And you got your oldest daughter, she's old enough to do that too. They'll look at the two of you and, oh yeah, dad act like that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that's why that family bond is important.
For sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, the demeanors, like, yeah.
Yes, those little things that we don't think about. Yeah, and she'll point them out. She'll say, "Oh, my daddy act like that," and I laugh about it. So yeah, those little things that we don't think about, because we as a society we gotta do better.
Yeah.
And I can't change the whole world, but I can change the little world around
me.
And
for real.
That's where it starts.
For real.
That's where it starts. So yeah, I would like to. I would love for you to do that, just the reaching out thing and saying, sometimes all we want to do is know that somebody see us. Mm-hmm. I see you, and you're important to me, because being an addict and alcoholic, it's dark. Mm. Even though before I came, especially if you're not in a recovery program, I could be in a room full of people, even though I have a pretty big personality, right? And I feel bubbly, and you're like, yeah. I feel, and everybody think, wow, she's a social butterfly. But inside, I don't, I'm not projecting what's inside, because I don't want you to see the inside. So I'm doing something to cover it up. So I know for me, even now, even though I've been sober 13 plus years, I can still feel like that until I'm around, I call them my people, alcoholics and addicts. That's when I'm the most comfortable, is when I'm in the rooms with them.
For people dealing with what you're dealing with.
Because they get me. They understand the darkness that I'm telling you about, and you have no idea. You got this look on your face like you don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But I just need people to know and say, I see you sometimes, because you don't know what's going on in an addict and an alcoholic head. There's reason that we act the way we act. And I know people say, they can do better. They just need to stop. They just...
That was it. That was how we dealt with it. You know what I mean?
That's because it's easier to be in denial than to have a solution. I think, it's easier for you to sweep it under the rug than deal with us, because we can be a hot mess. And we can wear you down. Yep. It's like, I am so tired of dealing with them.
Yeah,
and I know.
For sure.
I know. Yeah, I know. So, but, I'm sitting here preaching and telling you what you ought to do, because, like I say, I'm on this side.
Right. You said you're not dealing with the...
I have to say that. I have to let you guys know. I just have so much compassion for the addicts and alcoholics. Right. However, I know it's hard for you to deal with us.
Oh yeah, we didn't deal.
You've gone through a lot.
It does some things.
So it's easier for me to say, but I can share and tell my experience.
Right.
That might help.
Okay.
It might help.
Sure.
At least you can. It don't hurt to try.
Right.
So yeah, but yeah, it takes. We get there when we get there, and there was just one person in the room, and this might sound really mean, but she says that this disease, it's going to kill some of us. All of us, we're not going to make it. I'm not guaranteed to make it either. I'm sober today. That's all I got. I could leave here because my dope place right down the street from here. And, I could easy.
Right.
But
But hearing
I
that,
only have one day at a time. Anything can flip and I'm gone. It's just like that. It's just like that. It's not being sober. It's easier to stay sober than it is to get sober. And sound like the people that you are dealing with, they're not sober. It's hard to get sober. You know, you got to want it. But anything easy, it's not worth it anyway. But you got to want it.
said one day at a time.
One day at a time. That's all we got. One day at a time, Dwain.
That's, geez.
Yeah. But I've really enjoyed this chat.
No, for sure.
Man.
I enjoyed it as well. I learned a lot.
Good. Well, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this chat as well as Dwain and I. And I'm like baffled about some of the things that you've gone through and experienced with people like us. I don't even know what words to put in. It's
Likewise,
like I'm feeling more sorry for the alcoholic and the addict. No, I can relate to. Well, I can't relate to your side, but my family has told me what I put them through as well. Right. Hopefully I don't have to do that, and hopefully you can, mend some of the offenses with your dad and your cousin.
Right.
That's what I like to hear you tell me next time we chat.
Right.
Well, guys, we're gonna wrap it up, and thank you so much for joining Silver Lining Nation once again, and we will talk to you guys next time. And once again, if nobody tells you guys today that they love you, heard from us here at Silver Lining, we love you. Bye, guys. Oh my goodness, that was a long interview.
Oh, what?